much to give.
I go by the name MidPoint, though many others, well, not many, people know me as Staxwell as well. MidPoint came from when I first started making beats. A friend of mine, his general feeling on it was that I would kind of find the middle ground in a lot of ways between a traditional hip-hop sound and then what the sample was invoking. So that's kind of where MidPoint came from. I live in San Francisco, California. I'm originally from Napa, California, so fucks with me. Yeah, I mean, growing up, there's definitely like not a relevant hip-hop scene in Napa, you know, like people in California, that goes without saying probably, though we do get a lot of Vallejo influence, so that's cool. So like Mac Dre was like popping when I was in high school. So like learning about Pete Rock, you know, DJ Premier, and like getting into Gangstar, like Cool G Rap and like Marley Marl, like trying to have a good understanding of the history as a whole, understand where it comes from, understand like where my place is in it. You know, being a white kid from like the outer Bay Area who has no business really being I would say a figure in hip hop, like trying to kind of get in where you fit in. I was affiliated with an organization called Spit Kicker, but because of my affiliation with that organization, I got to go backstage at a De La Soul concert, and I met an MC from the East Bay. But I sent him beats for like a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and it got to a point where he was like, he just wanted to record with them. So his name is a brother named George. He's a talented MC from the East Bay. From there, when I was in college, like 2007, I was doing a lot of jazz sampling, moved into soul sampling, and the progression there, he just basically got one of my beats to Del the Funkee Homosapien, and so that was like a super good look for me. He released independently, but it's featuring Del the Funkee Homosapien and Trunks, who's I believe he's from New York, but he's also a dope MC. But at that point, just having that sort of exposure and getting feedback from like people I was looking up to musically, kind of lit the fire under my ass, as they say. Very boom bap influenced, with kind of a mixture of kind of some spacey and like future sounds. So generally what I'm trying to accomplish from a drum perspective and like a rhythm perspective is that's always sample based. I'm always dealing with break beats and just breaks from soul samples and things like that. But some of the other sounds that I'll incorporate into the production are synths and a lot of kind of spacey vibes and things like that. As far as usually try to have the drum slap, that's always the most important part. And I feel like people tell me that that's kind of one of the more recognizable elements, because since I am like doing sample-based stuff and then doing kind of original composition with like keys and stuff, there's a lot of different sounds that'll come out of projects that I'll work on, but the drums are something that are always consistent. So like if you look at like Education or like the Night Creatures project or the Frankenstein projects, like those are all different, like collaborative with different people, but something that's consistent with a lot of them is the ethics with drum production. So I try not to make music that I don't feel like is relevant to how I actually feel about the world or just that day or just myself in general. So yeah, just having things that are organic to what I feel like life is actually like, in terms of the feeling and the emotion that it invokes. That's kind of the most important part for me. Generally using Ableton. Ableton 8 was kind of like my shit for a really long time. I started using 9 and it's very similar and has some differences, but I'm very comfortable with both of those. My main centerpiece, I would say, is the NPD32. That's kind of, I do sample chops and drum programming from there. you know, with any sort of musical expression, especially from an instrumentation sort of perspective, you know, you are conveying, you know, an emotion or some sort of feeling to whoever your audience is, whether you're your only audience or whether you have, you know, a huge crowd of people. So, you know, in having that sort of expression, I would say Speak with Beats sort of embodies that philosophy.